It's time for another episode of the Bad Influence podcast with me, Jordan Banderas. And before we begin, don't forget to hit that follow, subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my episodes. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on any of these. It's pure gold. So, today's topic is one that we can all relate to. I'm talking about setting your homies straight. Yeah, it's not as easy as it seems, and it's not the easiest thing to do, right? But as true friends, we know that honesty is key, right? But sometimes you have that one friend that puts you in a tough situation because of things they're doing to themselves, and you had to set them straight since you care a lot about them, right? Probably you have seen this with your friends. Probably you know what I'm talking about. Probably one day in your life you're going to have to do this to your best friend. But let's get one thing straight. Setting your homies straight isn't about calling them out or tearing them down or hurting them. No. That's not what this is all about. It's about showing some tough love, being honest, and genuinely caring about their well-being. Because when a friend steps up and says, "Hey, cabron, come over here. We need to talk." It's not easy, but it's sometimes necessary. In my case, if you're around me, if you're part of my circle, I'm going to call out your bullshit. If I see that you're fucking up on something, I'm going to call you out. And I expect the same thing from my friends. And they know that because I tell them, hey, if you see me fucking up, tell me. Because I want to get to a better life. And if I'm messing up, if I'm fucking up, that's not going to allow me to get to that particular part of life that I want to get to. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I had this experience recently that made me realize a few things. One was that people don't like to be told when they're wrong. Have you noticed that? They don't like to be told when they're fucking up, when they're doing things that are going to hurt them and things like that. And also, people expect you to agree with them on everything. On every single thing. They don't want to face any pushback. But, in my opinion, and I honestly believe this, that doesn't have to be the case in friendships. Because at least for me as a friend, I want the people around me to succeed. And if they are fucking up, I'm going to bring it up. Maybe that's one of the reasons why people don't like me that much. But too fucking bad. Like I mentioned, if I see you fucking up, I'm going to tell you. And if I'm fucking up, I want you to tell me. That's how friendships should be. Now, I dealt with this situation recently where what happened was that one of my friends was cheating on his pregnant wife. This dude was telling his wife that he was coming over to my house to help me with the podcast. The worst part of this whole story is that he never told me about his lie. He was just expecting me to cover for him. Like, if I knew what I was supposed to say in case that he got caught, you know? I was supposed to know how to cover up for him. I was supposed to come up with a lie on the fly to cover up for him. So what happened was that one day, his wife showed up at my house looking for him. She knocked on the door. I opened it, obviously, and she said, "Did my husband leave already?" I was like, "What?" It caught me off guard. I'm going to be honest. I was like, he wasn't even here. She then proceeded to tell me that her husband had been telling her that he had been coming to my house to help me with the podcast several times a week. Oh, yeah. But it gets worse. At this point, when she said that, I was like, in my mind at least, I was like, I wish this motherfucker was helping me with the podcast, but he never did such a fucking thing. I was mad at this point. I was offended because I was like, you're using me for your fucking life, you asshole, and you didn't even tell me. So I told my friend's wife that I will call him and that she needed to go home and wait for him. I was pissed at this fool. I was like, oh, hell no. So I called my friend, but when he answered, I could hear a woman's voice. I was like, oh, fuck. No, you are not doing this right now. And I told him, hey, your wife came over asking for you. He then said, and this is where it gets funny, and this is why I think that people don't understand that as friends, we're not supposed to cover for you guys every single time. Because my friend was all like, did you cover for me? He asked me that. I'm like, cover for you? For what? When I'm out of the loop, I don't know shit. So I was caught off guard and I wasn't going to cover for you anyway. I just said to him, dude, you need to go home and talk to your wife. This fool ended up getting mad at me. He was like, what about the brocode? And I said to him, dude, the brocode is for the little boys. I'm a man and I don't play bullshit games. And neither should you. He got so mad that he hung up on me. But the next day, this motherfucker calls me crying like a little bitch, complaining that thanks to me, his wife found out that he was cheating. His wife kicked him out of the house. He was blaming everyone but himself. Can you believe that bullshit? Can you believe that fucking bullshit? He was blaming everyone. Literally. He blamed it on me. He blamed it on her. He blamed it on the other people that he was cheating with. He blamed it on everyone. I was like, dude, you're my friend, but this is your fucking fault. Don't blame this on anybody but yourself. This is what you need to do. This is all on you. And I laid into him. I told him, you need to hear some truth. And I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that, but you need to hear this. I said, I've known you for a while, and I've seen the shit your wife has put up with because of you. We're almost the same. We've done messed up shit, right? She treats you like a fucking king. She takes care of your house and your other 2 kids with one more on the way. I said to him, dude, you have told me that when you come home from work, you have a meal waiting for you. She gets the bed ready for you. And sometimes when she can, she actually gives you a fucking massage. Because according to her, you deserve it. You work hard, right? You have a good woman and you lost it because you couldn't keep it in your pants. He was all like offended and everything, but he was also like, oh, but the other girls have a better body and all this BS. At that point, I got mad. I just said to him, I don't care if you stop talking to me, but you have to hear this. You are a fucking idiot, and if she doesn't take you back, it's all your fault. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you say like, oh, it's my fault or it's someone else's fault. No, you caused this fucking problem. And now you have to deal with the consequences. Nobody else. I don't have to deal with those consequences. You have to deal with the consequences. Your wife has to deal with your consequences. And your kids have to deal with your consequences. So this is all on you, motherfucker. So after this whole thing happened, his wife filed for divorce and he lost his business since apparently his wife was also helping him with that. He couldn't do shit. It's like they said, behind a great man, there's a great woman. And I honestly think it's true. I see it with my own relationship. But in this case, this fool was all acting like he was building this business by himself. And guess what? His wife was taking care of all the finances, all the backroom stuff, everything else. He was just the face. That's it. That's it. And he lost it all. Now, there's a big chance that you may not have encountered a situation like this where you have to set your homies straight, especially since we live in a society where you feel like you have to cover for your friends, even if it goes against your values and beliefs. That's how I have felt in the past. And for what I hear from people, that's how they feel too. So it's very important to understand this, because if you ever have to do this, let me tell you how to handle that situation. I've had to do this a few times in my life, and this is probably why my circle is very small. And again, I don't care. It's better to have only 5 people in my life that support me and tell me when I'm fucking up than 100 people that, even though they see me falling into the cliff, they're like, oh, go ahead, because I've seen it. And that's not what we should be doing as friends. But, again, if you have to do this, you have to understand that timing is everything when it comes to tough conversations, right? You have to find a place and a time where you can both be open and honest without any distractions. Sometimes it can just be over the phone, face to face, going to a restaurant, going somewhere that is quiet so you guys can actually talk. And you may even have to say this. You have to say to your friend, dude, this isn't a fight, it's a conversation. I just want to have a conversation. I don't want to fight you. It's your life. If you want to ruin it, go ahead. But I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. That's what I have said to many of my friends when I have to have tough conversations with them. Another thing that you have to do before you start the conversation, set some expectations. Let your homie know that this is coming from a place of love and concern, not judgment. The goal is growth, improvement, and building a stronger friendship. Trust me, if they know you care, they'll appreciate the honesty. They may not like it at first, but at one point, sometimes it can take them years. At one point, they may be like, you know what? Even though I don't like the way that this fool talked to me, I get it now. That has happened to me. That has happened to some of my friends. So I just want to point that out, okay? Another thing that's going to happen is that emotions might run high, but you have to stay calm, because it's not about winning an argument, but about fostering understanding. And this goes to all of your relationships, not just with friends. And in this situation, you have to share your perspective. You have to listen to theirs and find common ground, because when you find the common ground, this is where the understanding happens. This is one of the things that I have learned in my marriage and with my friends. We always have this understanding that we have different perspectives. We literally talk like we are mature people, right? But once you've had the heart-to-heart, if your friend doesn't stop talking to you, then keep moving forward together. Offer your support and let them know that you're in this journey with them. It's not picking sides. It's about making progress in their life. Because when you see your friend making progress, one of the things that is going to happen is that you may be like, well, if this fool can actually do this, maybe I can do it too. At least that's how I am. That's why I like to hang out with people that have a vision, that actually have businesses, like people that are building their own success, because I'm like, if that fool can do it, What's stopping me? You know? Shit like that. And I really do know this, that navigating hard conversations with your homies is hard. It is the hardest thing you're going to have to do. But it's also about love, respect, and growth within the friendship. This is where friendships are needed the most, when people are messing up, especially if they have goals, if they have families and kids and a wife and things like that. If they're messing up, tell them, because they're going to ruin their lives, just like my friend did in this situation. This motherfucker keeps crying every day, you know, even though it's his fault. He keeps blaming it on other people. He keeps saying that it was my fault because I didn't cover for him. He keeps saying all these things. He hasn't taken any advice, any suggestions on how to fix his life. He blames it on everybody. He hasn't taken any accountability for his actions. And right now, we're in a time where we feel lonely a lot more than before. So we need friends that will be able to tell us when we're messing up, when we're fucking up, when we're messing with our lives, when we're taking the wrong road, because that is going to show us that we're not alone in this world, especially with men that are suffering from depression and are more likely to commit suicide nowadays. So think about this. Let me know what you think on the comments, because I want to hear your stories about this. I want to understand more about what helps a friendship. What have you done to your friends to actually set them straight? You know, share all that. We're not alone in this world. We have to start communicating with each other. We have to start communicating with our friends. And if we do that, we're going to beat this pandemic of depression that men and women and pretty much kids are having right now, because we're going to have someone that is going to watch our backs. And that's what I wanted to talk on today's episode. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everything. Thanks for following me. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. Remember to keep an open mind and engage in respectful discussions in the comments below. Remember also to share, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification button to stay tuned for more content. And here are my final thoughts. You don't always have to agree with what your friends are doing. And in that case, if you care about them, you will have to set them straight. And have a great day.